Alright guys, welcome back to the channel. It's Maddie here, and today I'm going to be showcasing a brand new deck list that recently just bursted onto the scene at the yesterday's Frog EX tournament. In day one, a player by the name of Bird Mida went a perfect 6-0 playing this this sort of Jolteon infused, this lightning infused Flareon deck. This player actually went and beat Giratina Darkrai and Executor, as well as 4 Suicunes in day one, going a perfect 6-0. Again, definitely a small sample size, but I really like this deck list, and it was new. I think this has the potential to be like an actual new inclusion into the metagame, and I'm really excited about it. So let's talk about this deck list, and then we'll play some games on the ranked ladder. The cool thing about Jolteon from Genetic Apex, which of course is the main difference here, is that it has a 2 energy attack cost, and with Pichu, we can actually attack on our second turn going first. That's not something that traditionally Flareon was able to do, and I think that's definitely a pretty big upside. It can deal with Oricorios still pretty well, but it does hit for weakness, of course, on things like Suicune and on Greninja. So it's actually a really valuable card and a really valuable option into the Suicune matchup, and it covers the Oricorio stuff traditionally like the Genetic Apex Flareon in the deck list normally would. Pichus don't actually limit our ability to play Flareon EX at all because we're playing only fire energies in this deck list. So I really like it. I think that this is a really unique opportunity to play Flareon in a way that actually further improves its matchups into Suicune specifically without really sacrificing too much. Flareon, I think, really operates the same no matter how we play it, no matter what baby Pokemon we're playing, and Jolteon kind of fits that bill really nicely. It's a unique variant. So one of the Genetic Apex Jolteon, and one of the Sylveon EX to Flareon EX. You could swap Sylveon for a second Jolteon. It would help your matchups into Oricorio, but I think this player decided to just play one copy of this Jolteon, one Sylveon, and then one copy of Repel, and one Pokemon Communications. All of the rest of the deck is pretty standard Flareon. Of course, 2 copies of EV Bag, 2 copies of Red, 2 Pokeball, 2 Professor's Research, 2 Pichu, and then 4 EVs, 2 of the EX. We can open a booster pack. That was loud, my bad. Anyway, 2 EVEX, and then 2 of the Find a Friend EV. So basically standard Flareon, except we've swapped out Magby's and Genetic Apex Flareon for Genetic Apex Jolteon and Pichu, hopefully here to help us in that Suicune matchup. Now, it is a bit of a trade-off, of course, right? Being able to hit for weakness on the water Pokemon and being able to attack on your second turn going first are upsides, but Jolteon isn't the most consistent card in the world. You still have to flip coins, of course, which sometimes doesn't go your way, right? But I do like this deck list, so let's hop right into some gameplay. I will say that we streaked insanely well last night, and we were in like the top 200, and then I played this morning and lost like 4 in a row. So, you know, that's how it goes, right? No matter what deck you're playing, you could definitely lose a bunch of games. But I actually do like this deck. Let's hop right into it. I like this deck into, of course, the 2 most common matchups. Oh, my bad. Okay. Anyway, we're back into it. I like this deck into the 2 most common matchups. Of course, in the metagame right now being Suicune and Giratina Darkrai. I think Flareon has always had a pretty decent matchup into Giratina Darkrai, and now we're kind of flexing the deck a little bit to be specifically strong into Suicune in some scenarios. So I'm really curious. We actually also have the ability pretty easily, because it's a 2 energy attack cost, to just go Jolteon into Flareon. That still happens pretty easily. Now, this is definitely still a deck list that wants to go second. That's always the case when you're playing Flareon. You want to get that baby Pokemon out. You want to attack turn 2. I say that and we go first, of course, right? Traditionally, how that goes. We do lead Pichu, no other basic Pokemon, but we do have a Pokeball, and I guess at this point, we're just hoping to not draw into a second Pichu off this Pokeball, right? That's happened to me plenty of times, for sure, right? The baby Pokemon are definitely a bit interesting, and it looks like we're probably playing Giratina and Darkrai here, so this Flareon is going to be definitely an interesting choice. Depending on, you know, what his early game board state looks like, it might be an easier matchup, might be a tougher matchup. It's actually Guzzlord. Okay, I was wrong. I saw the Dark Energy. I thought it was Giratina Darkrai. It's going to be Guzzlord. Now, Guzzlord is actually probably one of those matchups that Flareon does not love. I'll say that first and foremost. So what I'm actually going to do here is play the research before the Pokeball. I really just want to minimize the opportunities to draw into... Okay, so we have every evolution Pokemon in our deck list. No other basic EVs off that research. So let's see if we get unlucky here. We have 1 Pichu in the deck and 4 EVs. You never really know. I guess that's a 1 in 5 chance. Let's not pull the Pichu, please. All right, good. Good start. I will say. Okay, so what's really cool about having Jolteon in hand and being able to use this whole strategy, even though we only have 1 EV on board and we're going first, this is a good illustration of maybe where Jolteon can be of strength. Now, Celesteela does see play in Buzzwole. It sees play in Guzzlord. It's another Pokemon weak to Lightning type. The Lightning type is, in general, one of the strongest offensive types in Pokemon Pocket. A lot of Pokemon are weak to the Lightning type. So we're playing Guzzlord, but he is going second, so that will give him definitely an advantage being able to attack you know, on his second turn here. Now, the issue with Jolteon into the Guzzlord matchup, of course, is that if they discard that Lightning Energy, it's a bit tough. Now, they do have to, basically roll correctly on 2 50-50 chances, but you never know. Sometimes that happens. He actually goes into Guzzlord here, and I find that to be probably a smart play. Now, we could repel him here. That's actually an interesting choice as well. No other EVs still on the board. Now, we have to make a decision, right? What do we really want to accomplish here? We have to be a little bit picky. Now, the thing is, Flareon can't really take the KO. We don't have... I mean, it can technically, but you need red and double EV bag. So I think I am just going to go into Jolteon here. It would be really nice. We have 3 other EVs in our deck list, so it would be really nice to draw into one of those potentially next turn. But I think if we do this, we can get some valuable damage off. And then I do actually, we could hold the repel for later in the game. But I know that the damage on this Guzzlord is probably not going to be that useful, and we're not playing Cyrus in the deck. So I actually kind of want to play the repel here early, just to guarantee some damage either on this Celesteela, potentially KOing it, which would really help, or on this Guzzlord like he brings up. Okay, so the other thing we have to look out for is if, of course, he is playing Will in his deck, because that will guarantee him on one of the coin flips, right? So let's play the red here. I'm actually feeling this red, mainly because if we flip 4 heads, we can take the KO. So you don't want to miss out on that opportunity. This could be great YouTube content. The first game we played tonight, let's see, let the coins roll. Never mind, it is tails. We do flip 2 though, right? So again, theoretically speaking, it's not that bad. I mean, it's 100 damage on our second turn going first. That's pretty impressive. Again, if he grind cores us and he discards the lightning energy, we're in a really bad spot, quite frankly. That's just how it goes. He is going to PCL, and he is just going to go ahead and grind cores for sure. Now, with no other EVs on board, I'm a little bit scared. No Will though. Let's see here. Does he discard any energies? He doesn't. That's a big deal. Okay, so now we at least have the opportunity to KO him this turn, even though it's probably not that likely. I do love this research, though. We need more EVs. I think we have a Pokeball, and yeah, this is perfect. Perfect. Okay. So now we can set this up this turn pretty easily. Now we're actually not getting KO next turn either, so we can go ahead and just, even if we don't KO this turn, we'll KO the following turn. We have played 1 red, though, so we have to keep that in mind. I am actually going to Pokecom away one of these Flareons because I would actually like to draw an Eevee so that we could Sylveon the following turn as well. So let's see. There's the Eevee, exactly what we wanted. Okay, so next turn we can evolve and Sylveon. All right, let's see if we get lucky here. Now we need 3 because he did Pokemon Center Lady, which is unfortunate, but you never know. That's 1. That's 2. That's 3. Let's go. Hey, listen. The first video of Jolteon of this new Flareon deck, the first game of the video, getting a little bit lucky there. So now we get basically a free attack off next turn, and then we can lead into Flareon, right? So all good stuff. And if he stays into Celesteela, we can actually just retreat and KO next turn with Flareon, right? So we're in definitely an advantageous position. I think this game right here, and hopefully this video, we can really illustrate the strengths of Jolteon, really making this deck a lot better when you go first. I think that's a massive advantage. Even if he Lucamines here, I'm really not that worried. He could Lucamine and discard the Lightning Energy. That would be unfortunate for sure. But hey, we're in it to win it, right? The Rocky Helmet comes down here. Let's see if he actually just goes into Guzzlord. I would be pretty curious to see if he does. But I would say we're in a good spot. We got a little bit lucky on the coin flips for sure, right? We went, what was that, like 5 for 8? Not bad. Definitely not bad. Yeah, that's going to be GG, right? So Guzzlord, traditionally kind of a tough matchup, I'm not going to lie, but we made it happen. So now the cool thing here is that with Jolteon, retreat cost of 1, we can go ahead, just retreat out, make sure we discard that fire energy. We can go into Flareon, use Combust, attach it back onto us, and, take the KO. So really, really interesting first game there. I think that really properly illustrated Jolteon. Of course, we got lucky with the coin flips, but, even if we, didn't get that lucky with the coin flips, maybe he doesn't PCL. Maybe we don't play Guzzlord and we're playing just like a Suicune deck or whatever, and even just 1 or 2 coin flips actually really does matter. So let's go. Again, I actually swapped off this deck today because I wanted to play more Giratina Silvally and went on like a 4-game losing streak and dropped like 1,000 places. So let's hope that we can climb back up in this video. That would be really, really nice. Yeah, I mean, even in like ranked battles or tournaments aside, I actually think that there's a lot of merit to this deck list. We might not hit any Suicunes in this video, but theoretically speaking, Jolteon is going to be a lot better against Suicune than the Genetic Apex Flareon. We're going second now. This deck still is preferred to go second for sure. We are playing a lightning type deck, and we start with, we start with 4 EVs, which is a little bit nuts here. So I'm not going to bench all of these. I'm just going to bench like 2. Actually, we can bench 3 pretty comfortably. So Pokeball now will guarantee us Pichu, which is kind of unique. Let's see, we're playing Zero Aura and Tapu Koko. Okay, so that's an interesting one for sure. Very, very, very interesting. So without Pichu, we actually aren't going to be able to, and he's going first leading Zero Aura, which is pretty good for him. So we have to play around this a little bit uniquely. What we have to do, hopefully, is not get KO'd next turn with like a Giovanni Zero Aura play, right? That would be pretty disastrous for us. Tapu Koko can only hit for 90, and that is definitely important. We just top deck the Pichu, which is actually pretty crazy, but we don't have any more evolution Pokemon in hand. So I think what we actually still have to do is just find a friend, which is a little bit unfortunate, but as long as we don't get KO'd next turn, we can revenge KO pretty easily. So there's Jolteon. I kind of would rather it be Flareon, but Jolteon is actually fine. So let's see if he has Giovanni and we get KO'd. Oricorio comes down. Okay. We can handle Oricorio pretty easily. We have Jolteon, but we also have... Okay, he's going to silver away the red. The red's not useful here, so I don't mind. I mean, it does put a card back in the deck, but it's all good. So we are going to take a little bit of damage here. Unfortunately, letting him take that prize card later in the game if in fact, he does draw like a Cyrus and an Eevee bag. Okay, so again, what we have to do, unfortunately, is retreat, go into Pichu, just like this. I am going to attach to one of these other Eevees for sure. I don't know which yet. We don't want to evolve Jolteon yet either. So I think I'm just going to attach to this one. And then I'm just going to Crackly Toss also to this Eevee. Now, theoretically, what we also can do, if we wanted to, is go into Flareon, right? Now, Zero Aura is probably one of the more interesting things because it uniquely has 90 HP, right? So we need 3 coins technically to flip heads to KO the Zero Aura. He does red card us, which is pretty bad. He red cards our 3-card hand, which is crazy. We draw into Eevee bag, and Pokecom. Okay, so we should be able to grab at least a Flareon next turn, which is something. But what's unfortunate about that, of course, is that if we evolve into Flareon and we KO, then we need another Pichu to get another Jolteon set up, right? So we're a little bit reliant on Repel if, we do, in fact, have to go into Flareon this turn. But no energies on the Tapu Koko yet, so that is at least a good sign. And even if we KO with Flareon here, at least we're taking a prize card and maybe we draw into Repel, right? So, okay, so let's Pokeball for the other Pichu. We can pivot into this maybe later if we need to. So what I'm going to do is actually calm away this Eevee. I wouldn't really mind anything here as long as it's not a basic, right? Which it won't be, so. And it's Sylveon. Okay, that's actually probably the one we didn't want, really. Let's evolve the... Well, yeah, this is a little bit sketchy. I'm going to evolve this one here that's got lower HP just so that it's less of an easy target to get KO'd. Brings that up to 90 HP. Let's draw 2 cards. Let's see what we draw here. We do have another research in the deck, I think. Eevee bag and Flareon. Okay, interesting for sure. Okay, that's fine. So we have double research, Jolteon, and of course Repel still in the deck. But yeah, what we're gonna have to do here is just KO with this Flareon. We're gonna take 50 damage on the return by Oricorio. And yeah, what we're now gonna have to do, unfortunately, is rely on that Jolteon and Repel. We've already used Calm. We've got, 9 cards in deck. Jolteon's in there. We've got a couple of researches in there, so no guarantee that we really draw into anything, unfortunately. And he does Cyrus up Sylveon, which I don't actually mind. I don't mind at all. It's kind of a crazy play on his part. Kind of a crazy play. Maybe he has Cyrus in hand too, so maybe he's just going to try to take those prize cards right there. We do draw the research, which is pretty valuable. I have half a mind to just pop the Eevee bag. Oh, the Repel. Interesting. Okay, so we can't do any of that yet. Okay, so this is a really interesting scenario, right? So, oh, my Sylveon just got really small. Did you see that? That was crazy. Okay, we can Eevee bag to heal up. So I think what I'm actually going to do is I am going to go ahead and combust just so I can take the damage. And then I'm going to Eevee bag, bring Sylveon up to above 50 HP. Yeah, we're going to heal. No Jolteon yet. It's a little unfortunate. But because we don't have Jolteon, what I'm going to do is go into Pichu. This is a little bit sketchy. We are giving him a prize card. But again, we have Research and Jolteon left in the deck list. And we have Repel possibly to just take a K with Flareon the following turn. So I'm just going to attach. I'm going to retreat. I'm going to go into Jolteon. And then I'm going to Crackly Toss to this other Eevee here in case we draw into Jolteon. Because I do want to keep Flareon at, high HP. But theoretically speaking, what we can do is still Repel, KO one of these guys on the bench. and then hopefully draw into a Jolteon, you know, the following turns, right? Because he's not really threatening to KO Flareon that easily. So he's going to set up the Tapu Koko. He does Mars us. I don't really love the Mars, but let's see. Red is bad, and Pokeball's bad. Okay. All right, there goes Repel, and we still didn't get Jolteon, and he actually just benches a second Koko. So interesting. Okay, so now we're in a much worse spot because he Marsed us to 2, and we whiffed on basically everything there. Let's just bring up this Eevee. Again, we have a research in the deck. We have Jolteon and Repel, and it's another Flareon. That's not what we want. It's not what we wanted. We can't thin a card out of the deck. Okay, so this is a really, really tricky situation, in fact. I think what we have to do is, again, now hope that he does not have... we have to hope that he doesn't have Giovanni or a way to KO our active this turn. We can find a friend. That is something we can do, which I think we might have to. If we find a friend, we're kind of guaranteed, actually, right? Yeah, we are guaranteed. See, but he could retreat. He probably has, like, E-Switch or something, right? It's pretty likely that we get KO'd next turn, but we can't give him Flareon because then we just lose, right? So I think what we have to do is find a friend. If we bring in Flareon, he gets hit for 50, and then what, right? I don't love that. Because then we're going to have to force retreat. Yeah, no Repel. Research Repel and Jolteon in our deck here. I am just going to... But then we lose to Cyrus, right? Actually, we just get KO'd after we KO with Jolteon, so we can't do that either. So yeah, unfortunately, we have to just retreat. Yeah. All right. It's tough. It's a tough one for sure. We got a little bit unlucky on the draws there. So we have to just give him Flareon, which we don't love. I'm going to go ahead, just evolve this, and I'm going to combust. We probably shouldn't evolve that, actually, now that I think about it. This Flareon is our only one with lightning energies, too, now that I realize. Okay. We definitely messed up somewhere along the way, but it's okay. He's going to go into Tapu Koko because he definitely has Cyrus, so that's going to be the game. Yep. All right. It's a tough one. We got a little bit unlucky on the draws. Just nothing we can really do. He had E-Switch Cyrus in hand anyway, so we weren't winning the game regardless. Yeah. Okay, that's tough. Not being able to repel or get Jolteon against the Oricorio, definitely unfortunate. Both of those cards in our 5 cards of our deck. If we had either of those cards at any point in the game, it would have been way, way easier, right? All right. Another game with Jolteon, Flareon. My luck today has been horrible. I'm not going to lie. I might cut out the last couple losses because they were just straight bricks. Like we didn't draw a single evolution Pokemon in like 15 cards. So that's you know, that's kind of how it's going today, I will say. Now, the cool thing about this deck list is that, okay, we're going first again, which is not great. The cool thing about this deck list, and we lead Eevee, also not great, is that technically speaking, from a consistency standpoint, it's the exact same. A Tyrogue in the active is crazy. We can KO this thing, so that's something, right? I suppose. Yeah, but from a consistency standpoint, the deck is the exact same as, you know, as like normal Flareon, which is, I think, a good thing. I do like. Let's just bench the Pichu too. I don't want to get like red card or repelled. So we can just KO this thing next turn unless he giant capes, which he might. And then as long as, well, yeah, it's an interesting world here. This could go a lot of different ways. The thing that's crazy when you play Flareon is that you actually don't have, oh, the second Tyrogue, hello. When you're playing Flareon, you actually don't have any hand disruptions in your deck. So it's a weird game. Like you feel like you don't have the ability to like stop your opponent from doing certain things, which, you know, I mean, can feel bad. It can't. Okay, so our Eevee's going down to Tyrogue next turn, which is crazy. It actually is. So now we're actually forced to just retreat here, which feels bad, but we just can't. Like the Tyrogue Darkrai lead going second is just unbelievable. But anyway, that's how today's been going, I would say. We do have Flareon in hand. So that's something, I guess. No Jolteon, no Sylveon or anything. Now we do get KO'd with Crackly Toss, right? So that's obviously not the best thing in the world. But Darkrai can't one-hit KO, you know, Flareon, right? So let's just do this. Maybe we draw Jolteon. Maybe Flareon survives. The issue here, though, is like, you know, he can KO with Tyrogue and then go into Tyrogue again. So yeah, okay. So Repel hopefully can win us the game here. He might bench another baby Pokemon, but that's kind of the hope right now is that Repel can get us the win this turn. We'll have to see. We do have a red in hand too. Okay. So yeah, we'll KO here, and if he goes into Tyrogue and doesn't bench another baby Pokemon, then, you know, we have the potential for sure. We do have a fire in the discard, so we can just pop off with Flareon here. We can full heal up too, which is important. Oh, another Eevee bag. Okay. Now we do lose to Cyrus at this point. We do. There's no real way around that. We couldn't do anything to stop that from happening. So if our opponent just has it, then we lose on turn 3, and you know that's how our life goes. But yeah, so we have Repel and Red in hand, so all we have to do is just somehow not lose this turn, and theoretically it's possible. So I'm just gonna full heal here because we have Red. Maybe he just, like, I don't know. You never know. I mean, anything could really happen. But yeah, so Tyrogue can KO. I mean, Darkrai can KO as well this turn. So if he has Cyrus, we just lose. We can't do anything about it. We went first leading Eevee EX into a double Tyrogue game. So let's see. He does go into Tyrogue, so maybe he doesn't have it. But maybe he probably does anyway. All right, let's see. Does he? This is if we get Cyrus here, that's really just what's been going on today for me for ranked. It's been a very unfortunate day. Red. The red comes down. He's going to Tyrogue with red. All right, GG. Okay, we got a little bit lucky there. I mean, this is just a general Flareon game. You know, just a general Flareon. Jolteon didn't do too much. We did showcase Jolteon in that first game, which is good for sure. He's like, oh, he's got the Repel. That's crazy. Yeah, and we also have red. We got pretty lucky. Pretty lucky, but, you know, what are you going to do? Easy wins? We'll take them. We'll take them any day of the week. The format is very aggressive. I will say, though, like, on Ranked recently, I've been seeing a lot of not Giratina Darkrai and a lot of not Suicune. So, you know, Ranked is something where you can't really play a deck and expect to, you know, like counterplay specific matchups. You're going to hit a very wide variety of stuff. The upside of Flareon is that it's just really good in general, right? So you're going to win matchups some ways. You're going to lose matchups other ways. That Tyrogue deck, though, I have seen floating around today. It's definitely an interesting one. Oricorio is definitely becoming a bit common as well. Like, I kind of had the thought to, like, cut Sylveon for a second Jolteon, just to really help in the Oricorio matchup. Theoretically, you miss some draw power. We're going first again. Another going first game. Seemingly the only thing we can do here. We do have Pokecom double Pokeball Pichu lead, which is, like, not that bad. And this might be Guzzlord. It's Darkrai, Giratina Darkrai. Okay. This is not horrible. It's not great, but it's not horrible. The Repel is also interesting. Okay, so let's see what goes on this game. We gotta just make the best of it, I think, no matter what. The Pichu is getting calmed immediately. I'm just gonna calm it this turn. I'd rather have 2 Eevees in the Pichu, so see you later. See ya. Yeah, I'm alright with that. I'm totally fine with that. I am just going to bench this. Both Eevees, get down, all good. We'll Crackly Toss. Going second, leading, like, if we went second this game, we would have won turn 2, and it would have been fun. It would have been a fun experience, but no, we've been going first, like, all day, unfortunately. I'm having a good time with Ranked. I really am. Now, I'm trying not to play Suicune or Giratina Darkrai, which is certainly going to hamper our ability to climb super effectively, but I want to play more Ranked. In fact, we might go live tonight as well. Also, don't forget the tournament. Our tournament is tomorrow, the second tournament. Rocky Helmet is crazy. It's a little bit nuts here. A little bit crazy. A little bit something, I will say. We do have Repel, so we have a couple of options here. I'm going to research, of course. I kind of want to Repel and just hit with Eevee EX. Am I crazy for saying that? Let's just evolve this Eevee here. We definitely don't want to stay in with Pichu, but I do kind of want to get some damage off on this Darkrai. So we draw red and Eevee bag. So yeah, I am just going to Repel. Because we're safe, I think, kind of regardless. I don't really mind taking the 20 damage next turn with an Eevee. So we're just going to retreat. I guess we could get, like, red carded or whatever, which would be unfortunate. So I guess attacking here doesn't really do a whole lot. I mean, there's really no reason to attack, is there? All right, attacking doesn't really do anything, but we are just going to Repel this up and hope that we can, you know, put him behind on an energy for a turn, right? And yeah, we'll just hold this hand. Because we can KO. We have Eevee bag and red in hand, so even if we get, like, Mars to red card, it's pretty likely that we draw into either of those. He's going to Cyrus up the Pichu to KO it. I don't care. I really don't. We're just going to KO, and it's going to be all good. Yeah, so now he's got to split energies, and there's no Giratina, right? So we're at a pretty big advantage this game. Flareon is going to do Flareon stuff. I'm glad we were able to showcase Jolteon in that first game because Like, you know, it's not obviously, we're only playing one copy of it, so it's not like changing the deck like dramatically. You know? We have another Flareon in hand too, which is kind of OD. It's a little bit extra. Don't mind it. Don't mind it. We'll just KO him next turn. He has a Rocky Helmet, so he can't even cape it. So it worked out. It worked out a little bit in our favor. This is a fun game. I like Flareon. It's not something that I've played a lot of, but I know some people might be excited to see like a different variant of Flareon, because back in the day we had Leafeon, which played Flareon more like a tempo deck and less like a turbo, you know, aggro-based deck list. But this Jolteon version is a way to play, you know, sort of turbo Flareon, but like also turbo Jolteon. Like, I don't know. It's a really fun, fast-paced deck that I really love. Let's see if we get Mars to 1 here. I wouldn't be shocked. Yeah, of course. You know, why wouldn't they do that? We top deck another Eevee. Okay. Do we want to attack, I wonder? It's a good question, right? Let's draw Eevee back here and just end the game. That'd be cool. We have 6 cards in the deck. Yeah, okay, we'll take it. We will take it. It's good to get a little bit lucky sometimes, right? It's good to get like just a little bit lucky. You know, we did go first into Giratina Darkrai. Have we gone second like at all today? I don't know if we have. But I do definitely feel like recently we've been going first like almost exclusively in ranked battles for some reason. Do you guys ever feel that way sometimes? You ever feel like you only go first in ranked? Oh man. Yeah, I'm really excited for the tournament tomorrow. It's gonna be a fun experience. I really would recommend everybody go register. It's at noon tomorrow, Saturday, that is, if you're watching this. But we're running them weekly, so you know, even if you can't make it on you know, October 4th for that tournament, like go ahead and see if you can make it any of the other weekends. You know what I mean? Because they're all going to be fun experiences. So we do go second with Pichu and double Eevee and Flareon, as well as Repel. So the potential is a little bit higher here. But as we see, this is probably Oricorio because this is a lightning deck. It's not. Okay. That's fine. We don't mind. We don't mind all of that, really. We really don't. Going second baby lead with Flareon is always going to be just really crazy. You know, it's a deck that really it is kind of a high roll deck. I'm not going to lie, right? Especially with coin flips, it makes it even a little bit more high roll. There is the old Oricorio. Now we do have Repel, so we could get a cheeky KO in the Tapu Koko. Regardless of what happens over the next few turns, and he goes first, so he can't actually attack. Now, he might just attach and retreat next turn. We'll have to just wait and see. Our hand is a little bit, like, brickish, though. There's not much going on other than what you're seeing here. I'm going to bench the Eevee, and we're going to Crackly Toss. We have Flareon in hand. We have Repel. So I'm really hoping we can just take a KO on the Tapu Koko next turn. I don't really know how to avoid that unless he attaches and retreats and benches another Pokemon. It's very possible he does do that. So let's see. I wonder though, because he might just want to attack with Tapu Koko, right? He might want to have that potential. Never mind. He's going to see our hand, so there's no way he's staying in. But then he has 0 energies, right? So whatever, right? We can still KO whatever's on the bench unless it's a second Oricorio. But it's going to be a little bit while probably until we draw a Jolteon, unless we just top deck it. That'd be cool. I'd love to see the old Jolteon top deck. Maybe it happens, maybe not. Who knows? He red cards us. That's crazy. Okay. Into Pichu bad, Eevee bag bad, Eevee bag bad. Okay, so a crazy red card. We get absolutely walled there. But he's kind of rolling the dice. Crazily enough. Let's see, did it work for him? Somehow that worked out for him. I don't know. I don't know, man. Really, I have nothing else to say other than that this game does not like me sometimes. Let's find a friend here, see what we can find. There's Flareon, and we still have Repel in hand, luckily, which is good. Yes, he'll KO one of our Eevees, but if he stays in, then he gets killed by Flareon. Unless he has Mars as well. He might just have a second red card. They tend to play multiple. Just give me the Flareon. Just, can I have it? Can I see it once? Thank you. Okay. All right. And double research. That red card was a little more kind. I will admit. The last one was brutal. The second red card was kind of meme, but it ended up kind of coming out in the wash either way. It worked out. You know, it happens, man. It happens like that sometimes, you know. It's a strange world that we live in. It is. Man, what'd you guys think of the video yesterday with the old MBT Yu-Gi-Oh collab? He was really nice, a really nice guy. Very kind of him to let me on the channel, or to come onto my channel. It was a great experience. I had a lot of fun. It's the first kind of collab video we've really ever done. So, I attached wrong. We're gonna have to combust here. That's my bad. It's all good. We're just gonna take a little bit of damage. We'll take the KO regardless. No repel, no Jolteon, but we can research next turn. Now, the issue with all of this, though, of course, is that we're going to have to go back into Pichu anyway to... What is it? To get a Lightning Energy on the board. Which, I mean, it's not like the end of the world, but... Anyway, everybody with their full art Professor's Research is just fun. That's what I really like about this season of Pokemon Pocket. Yeah, he's going to stay in. That's all good. The repel is hilarious. Let's go ahead and do all of this stuff here. What do we draw? That's another Flareon and a Pichu. Okay, pretty bad, actually. Okay, so Jolteon's still in our 6-card deck. We have Pokecom. We also have a Sylveon. I am just going to retreat. Now, this is sketchy, right? Because we're basically giving him another prize, which is never great. But yeah, we have to Crackly Toss. We honestly have to. And I am just going to Crackly Toss to this guy here. So if he benches something, then, we can just repel it up unless it's another Oricorio. But other than that, we're kind of just stalling and waiting for Jolteon. And I think he knows that. There's the second Oricorio. Yeah, that's good. All good. It's great. We've already been red carded twice, so... Oh, and the Coco. Okay, so not only does he have second Oricorio, but then he has Coco. So that's great. So now we will definitely lose this game unless we can draw Jolteon like right now, or maybe like in the next turn. But yeah, we're definitely getting to that point for sure. We have Sylveon in the deck. We have Pokecom in the deck. We have Jolteon in the deck. Let's see what we can do here. Pokemon Communications. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but this is going to guarantee either Sylveon or Jolteon. So let's see here. It is Jolteon. What a riot. What an absolute riot this is. Okay, let's do this. And then now I think... Well, we can actually... Yeah, let's just evolve this Flareon. And attach. The EV bags aren't going to do anything for us here. So I think we just ride out. I mean, we could play one. Does he play Cape? He might play Cape, so I kind of want to hold one. Although we have double red in the deck. It doesn't really matter, right? Well, I'd rather protect myself from like a Cyrus play, so I am just going to EV bag once. My Jolteon is small again. Why is my game glitching? Look at him, he's tiny. All right, anyway. All we need is 2 heads to win this game. That's 1. That's 2. That's 3. That's 4. Look at that. Boom, 160 damage. A little bit overkill, but you know what? It is what it is. That game is a little bit more realistic in terms of what the Oricorio matchup will look like. You're not always going to draw all of your cards. You're going to get red carded 6 times, and it's going to be annoying. But theoretically, with Pokecom in the deck, with Sylveon, with double research, it's very likely that you do get to the point that you want to get to eventually. It just doesn't always happen that way. You know what I mean? Sometimes you get it early, sometimes you get it late. Luckily, though, we were able to draw. At that point, right, with Pokecom, we either get Sylveon or Jolteon, right, which are 2 obviously very useful options in that particular scenario. Now, again, you could just play double Jolteon instead of Sylveon, but I still like the Sylveon. I think it's good to draw the extra cards. It's the only real advantage that I think that the deck has, since you're not... Is this the same player? Am I playing the same player? We're going first again into water, Eevee lead with a crazy hand, actually. Just a kind of a horrible hand. We do have Repel as a defense mechanism here. We're coming into Giratina. Okay. Can I get an Eevee here? Let's see. I would like the Eevee, if possible. That's fine. That is a-okay. So at least now we can Sylveon next turn, right? No Pichu's a little bit sketchy. So we might just attach Retreat into Pichu regardless. But this is going to be Suicune. The Suicune matchup's unique. Jolteon, it could be really useful here. We do have it in hand. Of course, we can't use it without Pichu, so... There is Flareon. Yeah, so what I'm going to do here is Sylveon on the bench. We can Sylveon on the bench. What do we draw? Eevee bag. All right, let's see what this Pokeball is. If it's Eevee, then we might Yeah, okay, so we might just attach, find a friend, and then split so that we can KO this Giratina. But what we are going to need is red at some point. Well, maybe not. I don't want to get Mars'd here, but... I mean... Does Find a Friend really do anything for us, though, I guess? Not really, right? It does thin a card out of the deck. But if we retreat and then evolve and then EV bag... I mean... There's no Pichu. I actually do... I'm just going to Find a Friend. I'm actually not even sure what's correct there. You guys can tell me what the correct play was there. So that's Pichu. That's fine. That's all good. Let's see if we just get Mars here regardless. Like... Because we can split and then just Flareon on the active, right? And we're not in like a bad spot. The Repel there is really interesting, actually. And he attaches to the Froakie, which is crazy. So I'm a little bit worried about like a Mars play. I'm a little bit worried about it. So here's what we can. We have a couple of options. In fact, a few, in fact. So what we can do is we can evolve the bench EV. And then just attach and then Find a Friend again. And then hopefully just get like a red or something. Well, even if he attacks, then we're chilling, right? That's probably the safest bet. It's tough because we do let the EV go down, but it is just in general, like, I think the best play. We could just retreat and then Pichu. It's effectively the same thing, but we're not letting an EV go down. It's probably not a bad play either. It does open up like Jolteon players later in the game as well. So let's do that. Let's just do that. I don't think finding a friend here is going to do much for us, so let's just retreat, go into Pichu. We're not going to evolve anything yet. Now, we could Repel here, but I'd rather potentially just KO the Giratina next turn. So I'm not going to do that. And I'm not going to Combust here because I don't want to get, like, Cyrus next turn. So I'm just going to Crackly Toss. If he attacks, then it's fine. You know what I mean? Like, we have double red in the deck, so even if he capes and attacks, like... You know, we could draw red or EV bag here. So it's okay. So the Suicune comes down. He actually can't even attack with Giratina this turn, so it is what it is. The Greninja does come down. Let's see what, in fact, he does. He splits the energies, which is good. He's probably going to target the Flareon. Yeah, that's fine. We can EV bag that up and just sort of, you know, KO next turn. We do have a full bench in a Suicune, which is, like, not always, like, the most advised thing to do, right, of course, but it's never, like, a bad thing. And we do have red in hand, right? So that all worked out, I think, pretty well. And I don't think he can KO regardless, right? So, can he? I don't know. We're going to be at 130 after all of this. Can Suicune KO? I mean, even if it can, we have another Flareon, right? So I think we're safe. We heal? Oh, yeah, we heal. Sorry. And we're going to play red. I thought we misplayed. My bad. Hold on. We're cooking. We're cooking. And then, yeah, now we just evolve this Flareon. We don't need Jolteon on this matchup, coincidentally. It's just not going to help us with a Giratina in the active. There's definitely... You know, a potential case to where, what is it? What is it? What am I talking about? There's definitely a case where Jolteon would have been useful there. Like if we weren't, like if we had it early enough, if we had Pichu like that first turn, or if he led with like a water type Pokemon, but not hitting for weakness there. There's no real reason to do that. So we have enough damage on board. He does hit us for weakness, so we have to keep that in mind, right? We have EV Bag and Repel, and red in our deck, but we also have Repel. So unless he benches a second Suicune, which he probably will, Repel is also win condition with his Flareon next turn if we don't draw into whatever. I don't know. There's definitely opportunities to lose this game because now he just needs one basic. Oh, GG. Okay. All right. It goes that way sometimes. It goes that way sometimes. Can't complain about it. We could actually just Repel kill ourselves here. Or KO ourselves. Would be pretty fun. Would be pretty funny to do that. Yeah, we have 2 in the discard. All right. It's an interesting scenario here. He doesn't have any prizes. So yeah, we are just going to go ahead and like double combust. And then look at this free pivot. Has anyone seen this free pivot before? The free Flareon pivot, the knock yourself out so you can just go into Flareon and KO with Repel. It kind of worked out. I wonder, it's crazy that he didn't have any other bench Pokemon. Isn't that a bit unique? I don't know if I've ever seen that before. Anyway, guys, there it is. Flareon Jolteon. It's really fun. It's unique. You know, it's maybe not for everybody, but again, if you wanted to play Flareon and you wanted to make a couple of different sacrifices, but just play a little bit more aggressive, a little bit more of a fast-paced deck, but improve your matchup into Suicune, while still, of course, having all of the typical Flareon matchups, I actually think that it makes a whole lot of sense. And again, we're like 5 weeks into like the same metagame with no new cards, and quite frankly, I think that this deck could be a welcome inclusion into the metagame. Again, big shout out to Wind Up Bird Maitya from Japan is his name, who went 6-0 at the Frog EX tournament, which is cool, taking down 4 Suicunes. A really, really fun deck. I would highly suggest it. I really would. Definitely a real contender right now, and a really creative list, just a way to make Flareon actually better into Suicune without really sacrificing too much, and I think that's definitely pretty unique. Comment down below what you guys think of this deck list, guys, yeah, that's all I got. That's all I got. All right, peace out, guys. Have a good one. We'll see you guys later, and yeah, bye.